Anyway, though, like I say, a lot of things we face, like with American Airlines and everything, all the contracts and how the contracts were worked out and how I worked out the contracts, and everything was different every time. Even the building contracts, even the way I built it, I can't even remember all the things like how I did the Titanic. I mean, it's amazing that I did so well because I mean, well, I was a really good inventor. It's true, and I invented a lot of things, a lot of great things, and had a lot going for me. I mean, creator of 800 galaxies. So, but still, it's kind of like jumping out of an aircraft without a parachute or whatever with a parachute. That's a bad analogy, but basically, it's not enough to be any of those things. Even though I was a creator of 800 Galaxies and the American president and all that other stuff, of course, it wasn't always America. So, I mean, we started American Airlines, and it was just another fledgling aircraft company with like two or three aircraft. It was a little baby. It was a little baby one, and like I said, I didn't even know that it would work. I mean, a lot of the things. I mean, people stand back and go, "Well, of course it worked." It's like, well, not really. Um, I mean, there were a lot of times when I thought it's impossible. We can't do a tour company. We can't do a shipping company. They're just going to rush the bridge every time, or they're going to rush the bridge next time, and then I'm out a ship and a crew. In many ways, I was just like a pirate captain or anything or something like that because, like, one time 500 people rushed the one of the bridges of like the Lusitania or the Titanic one time. And my guards and my men, they had to subdue every single one of them, or at least discourage the rest. And some people might have gotten shot that time. I mean, it was an issue because you are a crew of say a couple hundred people and you have 4,000 people with you on the ship. It's just like it becomes. Some people put it the analogy as it's just like being on a prison ship. You know, Same thing basically. I mean, they all can turn on you any moment and do whatever. I mean, they could have had this plan for months. And then you find yourself in one of those worst case scenario situations. So, like I say, I paid lots of people. I paid for specialists to come in on everything, everything. Like I treated those flight stewardesses like they were a military organization, basically. Everything. Basically, I treated them just like a government. And in fact, many ways, my flight stewardesses became like a government in how they were run, how they were structured. And I didn't really do all of that. That was them. That was other people. Doing their part in everything, trying to make it work. Because we all had a dream, you might say. They had a dream of being successful flight stewardesses or whatever they were doing. Like, I don't know about their particular dreams. I just know what I was dealing with. And like I say, I was dealing with running a country, building lots of projects, and running a successful aircraft company, and worrying about what to do about the Titanic because everyone was dumping their money out of the Titanic. I mean, dumping their money out of shipping. The shipping companies went in stock. Everyone sold out of their shares in Titanic. I sold out a little bit. I think I sold a little bit of stock or something like that in White Star Lines just to get money for the aircrafts and stuff like that. But as soon as the aircrafts hit the market, basically the stock went on ships. And I bought it back up. I was like, I'm going to buy it. They're not dead. So I bought all the stock in all the shipping companies, or at least like White Star Lines and a lot of the others. I bought all the stock. I was like, I'm buying it all. Just whatever they sell. In fact, when you actually sell stock, who you're actually selling it to is actually me. Believe it or not, that's my money. So every time stock is sold, I buy it pretty much. And otherwise, back in 1908, when the stock market first crashed, nobody would buy the stock. They couldn't sell the stock. The stock tickets were worthless. The stocks were worthless because nobody would buy it. But what I do is I buy the stock. And that's why you can always sell. Is because I decided a long time ago, well, I'll just buy it. So when the stock, well, I'd wait, of course, until nobody else would buy it and it would plummet or whatever, and then I would buy it. I wouldn't just automatically buy it up. But to a certain degree, when people sell stock, I basically buy it. So Otherwise, there would be no. Otherwise, you'd have stock for $500, and they'd be like, "I'm not gonna buy it. Drop your price down to 2 cents, and I'll buy it." And so, that was the problem. Nobody was gonna buy stock. Nobody was willing to put up the money. So I started putting up the money and doing that kind of stuff. Although realistically, it became kind of like a scam though, because where I'm losing money, but it's just inflation and all that other stuff. So, and otherwise, it gives market security. Otherwise, nobody would invest, and the market would be worthless. So, but I don't know. It's all figurative and different things. But it's all complicated. And realistically, in the end result is basically, money is pretty much meaningless. I've always been the creator of 800 galaxies and the Earth and so many other places. So, there's a lot of things that go on and a lot of things that happen that no one ever knows about or no one ever thinks about. They just go and they buy stocks or do this or do that, and the system works and that's all they care about, which is fine. It's my system. It was my job to get something that would work. That's what basically made me, well, besides the fact that I created particles and figured out the particle technology, and figure out what particles were and all that 100 trillion years ago. And then I just kicked around, in the existence and stuff. And then, and created life forms and stuff like that. And then spent time on Earth and other planets and all that. And then I finally came here as Brian. So it's all very complicated. And then, transgressing from just basically you're my life forms and do what I say to pretty much a system where many things can happen and exponential growth is possible. I mean, before it was just basically like we're all in the same boat and let's go ahead and do something. You're my life forms. It's, I'm your leader and that's the way it is. And we're going to, I'll keep most of you alive as best I can. And pretty much that was the way it was. And then, I allowed for money and all that and built all these other systems and everything else. And then we have problems of basically a bunch of, pretty much they're basically cash-in people where they're pretending to be Churchill, they're pretending to be President Roosevelt, and they're really not either. They're just people that saw the name and decided to say that they're president. And then they got an aircraft and then got as many suckers as they could to basically pony up some money. And basically they're running scams. Like I said, they tried to sell my Panama, and some people said, "You're not selling Panama, what?" I'm like, "No, I'm like $100,000 in the hole, or $39,000 in the hole on that. I ain't selling that." Are you kidding me? It's going to take a lot more money, but I'll eventually get money out of it. But not right now. I mean, I was like 30 some $1,000 in the hole, but I mean, it was mostly done and it was getting there. But basically, I was looking at $150,000 project pretty much, but it would include farms and quite a few towns. So, but I mean, I was like $30,000 in the hole, but that includes some of the pipeline too. Like there's section that's 5,000, section that's 12,000, section that's what's called. I mean, it was basically a dollar per foot pretty much is what I was being charged. So 100,000 foot pipeline, but then it got cheaper as things went on, and they actually started only charging me like half a cent per foot for the pipeline. So it was a rather expensive pipeline, but anyway. But it goes all the way down to the end of what's called. I think it goes underneath the water because there's actually a rock. We actually went underneath the ocean all the way down into Colombia with the water. So. It's something like that. It's something where it takes all the water and then it goes all the way down to Colombia and then all the way down to the very end, to the tip, to the Cape. And then it comes out the Cape as like a 4-inch line or something, or a 6-inch line. And that is water from Panama. So it actually goes like 8,000 feet down or 4,000 feet down, and then it goes underneath that sand ledge. It goes across there and then up. So it goes all the way down to the Cape. So most people don't really know that or didn't know that. So anyway, thousands of million, I mean, like it's like 250,000 miles or something like that of pipeline. And we mined it. We got all the mineral out of it.